We have found that the influential audience is not just curious about the stories that our newsroom tells, but more and more they're curious about the stories that a brand can share with them. We have built out a platform called Brand Connect that publishes content with partners utilizing the gifts that the internet brings us. So our brand studio at the Washington Post, which works with our advertising partners to tell stories, utilizes infographics, video, and words to capture and engage the attention of the influential audience that comes to us.
We've seen the numbers. I've seen them for different industries. Consumers are not noticing our advertising. So let alone all the work we do on the attributes of the brand and what the sell story is, they are not noticing our advertising. This is a little bit scary. I really think now that content is the way to soften them up. So if you've seen a piece of content, and I love the Pepsi Max, Jeff Gordon stuff and the stuff Pepsi Max has been doing, now a consumer might be more open when they see a Pepsi Max commercial on television or an out-of-home board. They might be more open to actually noticing it and taking away what the brand is trying to sell.
Now we have more of a content council where we meet regularly, such as you said, with SEO, with all of our agencies. We have now hired an editor for all of our content. That now is much more part of our process in terms of how can we make our content more relevant in the social space. It's not just taking what we're doing here and plopping it over here, but maybe it's a small tweak.
We need to be able to try to ride the cultural zeitgeist for our clients on a daily basis in many cases. And so we built out a room. It's outfitted with 8 screens, which give us insights off of those screens that we can see everything from what's going on contextually for an audience, what's going on in paid media for that audience, and then in both owned and earned channels as well. You'd be really surprised how spending just 2 or 3 hours a week in a room like that with your colleagues across various disciplines can really open up a lot of insights that develop ideas.
Risks to telling story in today's authentic way is critical, right? Made-up advertising fluff doesn't work. Did 50 years ago, especially in social media today. Everyone's going to call BS on it. So taking risks in an authentic way is what we try to do at BMW. And if we're telling something that's true, and in the end we think it's a great story that speaks to our brand benefit in a consumer way, we think it works.
So no matter how good your creation process, you're going to make mistakes because digital is very, very hard. It takes a lot of things to come together for content creation to work. One of them is timing.
The one thing that my team tries to do when working with the different lines of business, we're more like an internal agency, is to sit down with them and say, okay, what does your brand mean, Sapphire? If you were a publisher and you had to have a front page and you had to have sections in your quote-unquote newspaper or on your website, what would those sections be, literally, Sapphire? So trying to get the brand to think like, okay, Sapphire, we're about dining and travel. Like, what are the kinds of articles you would write as a dining and travel publication?